everybody! Welcome back to Pop Palace, Season 3, Episode 4. My name is Jack, I am your host, and here at Pop Palace, we celebrate iconic women and queer people in pop culture and pop music. So without further ado, we're on our Grace Jones season. This episode, we're going to be going over nightclubbing and living my life. Alright, let's get started. In our last episode, we went over Worn Leatherette and Muse. That was Grace's branching off of disco and starting her new era and new sound. But today, we're in a new era. Today's focus, Grace's world domination. Nightclubbing and living my life made Grace an icon, not just a performer, but a global blueprint. As Grace says, I'm not trying to be different. To me, I'm just being myself. Released in 1981, produced at Compass Point Studios, Grace released Nightclubbing. The mood is detached and sleek, androgynous and intimate. It's more serious than the past. The album title references the Iggy Pop song she covers, symbolic of her claiming nightlife as her kingdom. I think this is so powerful for Grace. She's reclaiming a song from an older artist who isn't like her in any way, and she's making it her own. Some of the key tracks on the album are Pull Up to the Bumper, a queer-coded club anthem, funk meets dub. This song is exactly what I would expect to hear in the queer clubs in the 80s. It's so fun, upbeat, and just really gets you dancing. The title track, Nightclubbing, is icy, industrial, and regal. It's smooth, and it's cool, and it really makes you feel like you're on top of the world. And then we have Walking in the Rain, where she gets a little existential. We're still a little weary of the world, but we're playing it cool. And then I've seen that face before. This song is haunting. It's ethereal. And it's another time when Grace uses multiple languages to perform. Grace references it, saying, "People thought I was cold. I wasn't cold. I was calculated." Once again, for the cover, Grace really wants to make a statement, because cover art matters. Grace is featured as a genderless cyborg chic idol, once again shot by Jean-Paul Goude. The cover really makes the album. It really sets the tone for what Grace is wanting to express. This is peak reinvention with Grace. She's done with the disco and she's into her new era. She says, "I became an alien. I was sculpting Grace Jones." I love how calculated Grace is with everything, including aesthetics, sound, everyone she works with. I think that is so important. I find a lot of people hating on calculated artists. They want everything to just be off the cuff, in the know, and 100% natural. But I find that the best artists are the ones that do have it calculated. They have it all planned out. They know what moves they're going to make and how to do it. And I think that really is how you become successful in pop music specifically and leave such a lasting impact like Grace has. She's been in the industry for multiple decades, and it's because she plays with identity. She rejects the pop machine, she plays with the identity, and she doesn't sell it. She's just it. Her performance is both armor and a mirror. It's an invitation to outsiders to really be introspective and to blur the boundaries between gender norms and social constructs. She never followed trends. She also created trends. She was the one that was wearing things the season before or even years before, and then they would become popular later on. Grace says, "Pop stars are supposed to be shiny. I was never interested in being shiny." This quote is a testament to who Grace is. She wanted to be herself and not what others wanted her to be. In 1982, Grace releases her next album. It's not quite as cohesive as Nightclubbing, but full of attitude and autonomy. Grace wrote more of the songs on this record than ever before. This is her directly speaking to the audience. The moods shift very often. She's warmer, sassier, and even more Grace. Some of the key tracks are My Jamaican Guy. This is a sweet and sexy song. It's very personal. It's reminiscent of your first crush. Nipple to the Bottle is the next song, a biting critique of maternal expectations. Grace is never one to shine away from expectations. In this song, she does a dive into what is being a mother and the norms surrounded by being a maternal person. The apple stretching. This is New York City through a poet's lens. It is written by Melvin Van Peebles, but Grace's reinterpretation makes it her own song. I think this song is a really good look at how Grace experienced New York in the 80s and her early life when she was trying to make it in fashion and music. And lastly, Cry Now, Laugh Later. This song is underrated, but it really shows emotional depth of Grace. It really shows her attitude and how she will cry now and laugh later. It may seem simple, but I feel like this is a form of rebellion. She's saying, I may be upset in the moment, but I will be better, and I will get better, and I will laugh again. She says, I wrote Nipple to the bottle about my mother. She was always telling me to cover up. But why? This is such a Grace introspection. Grace is pushing the boundaries and always asking the questions. Why do I have to cover up and not the men? Why is it my job to protect myself from onlookers when they should be holding themselves responsible? These two albums cemented her icon status in queer culture, fashion, and nightlife. Her style, sharp shoulders, cropped hair, tailored masculinity, and a bold androgynous look. She paved the way for artists like Bjork, Lady Gaga, FKA Twigs, and Janelle Monáe. Her work was political through aesthetic resistance. That is something I love so much, aesthetic resistance. I don't think people understand that in queer liberation and in most liberation, joy is a big part of resistance, and joy is a big part of fighting back. And Grace really does show that. She shows joy through music and expression, and shows political messages in an aesthetic way that really claims the audience attention and gets them thinking. Grace says, the future is no sex, no gender. I'm not a woman. I am not a man. I am Grace Jones. I know I've said that quote before, but I think it's just so powerful in expressing who Grace was during the time and who she still is. Nightclubbing and Living My Life weren't just albums. They were statements. Grace Jones gave us cool, danger, elegance, and power, all in one package. Going a little bit back into the sound and style of this era, Grace wasn't just changing how she sounded, but she was rewriting how a pop artist could look. Prior to this, there weren't really any androgynous pop artists in the same way that Grace was. Most of the pop artists weren't pushing the boundaries like she was. With her partner and collaborator, Jean-Paul Good, she really crafted an image that was so surreal that really, whenever you see it, it puts you in a trance. All of her images are just so otherworldly. I cannot urge you enough to go look up this image, look up any of the images of her, and they're all so amazing. She always said, I never wanted to look like anyone else. I wanted to be a work of art. My style is my weapon. It's how I fight. In the next episode, we'll be going over Slave to the Rhythm, her art pop explosion. And that's all for today's episode. I wanted to thank you all so much for listening. If you liked what you heard or have questions or comments, leave them down below on whatever streaming service you're using. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at pop.palace and check out our website at pop-palace.net. I know this episode was short and this season is a little short, but I wanted to try something new and do little snippets of some deep dives into Grace Jones and then have you guys explore the rest. And until next time, my name is Jack and I'll see you later. Bye!